The observation chamber hummed quietly as three pairs of multifaceted eyes focused on the scene below. Commander HFY adjusted the viewing filters, bringing the human settlement into sharper focus. For 7 rotations, the Cytherian research team had been monitoring this particular specimen, a lone human who had separated from the main colony pods scattered across Kepler 442b. "Fascinating behavioral anomaly," whispered Dr. Velnara, her chitinous fingers dancing across the data tablets. "The subject continues to deviate from established human survival patterns." The human below moved with deliberate purpose through the alien forest. Its bipedal form looked fragile against the towering crimson trees, yet it had survived longer than any isolated human should have been able to. Today, like many previous observations, the creature was not foraging or constructing shelter. It was caring for a nightshade stalker. The massive predator lay partially concealed beneath a makeshift shelter the human had constructed from salvaged materials and native vegetation. The stalker's obsidian carapace was cracked along its left flank, oozing the distinctive blue ichor that marked its species. By all evolutionary logic, the human should have fled the moment it encountered such a creature. Nightshade stalkers were apex predators, capable of tearing through reinforced hull plating with their crystalline claws. Instead, the human knelt beside the wounded beast with practiced familiarity. "Observe the precision of its movements," Commander HFY noted, recording everything. "No fear responses. No stress indicators." The human's hands moved with surgical efficiency, cleaning the wound with solutions it had synthesized from local plant matter. The stalker, despite being conscious, remained perfectly still. Its 6 eyes tracked the human's movements, but it made no aggressive gestures. This docility was unprecedented in their species' behavioral database. Dr. Velnara's sensors detected something that made her secondary heart skip. "Commander, the biochemical readings from the stalker are elaborate. Its neural activity patterns show significant alterations in the aggression centers. And look at these stress hormone levels. They're practically non-existent. In an injured predator, we should be seeing defensive rage responses, not this." Compliance. The human finished its ministrations and produced a metal container from its pack. Inside were chunks of raw meat protein that the human had been hunting for over the past several days. Instead of consuming it for its own survival, the human fed every piece to the stalker. "That's the 4th consecutive day it's given all its food to the predator," observed Dr. Rithken, the team's behavioral specialist. "Such resource allocation makes no sense from a survival perspective." Commander HFY's compound eyes narrowed as a new possibility began to form. Unless survival isn't the primary objective. The human reached into another section of its pack and withdrew a small device, clearly human technology, though modified with components that appeared to be of stalker origin. As the human activated the device, the stalker's posture changed. Its head tilted at an unnatural angle, and its movements became more synchronized with the human's gestures. "By the void," Dr. Velnara whispered, "run a deep scan on that device." The readings that came back made all 3 researchers step away from their instruments in shock. The device was emitting a complex pattern of electromagnetic pulses directly into the stalker's neural cortex. Not random pulses, a sophisticated control matrix that was rewriting the creature's basic behavioral programming. "It's not healing the predator," Commander HFY said, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's programming it." The human stood and gestured toward the forest. The stalker rose to its full 3-meter height and moved in perfect synchronization with the human's direction. Together, they approached another area where the team's sensors detected movement, a small group of human survivors who had been making their way toward what they believed was a safe zone. "Alert command immediately," HFY ordered. "This isn't a survival situation. This human isn't lost or separated from its colony. Dr. Velnara's hands trembled as she sent the priority transmission. The behavioral anomalies, the extended survival, the rejection of rescue attempts, it was never trying to survive. It was hunting. Through their instruments, they watched as the human commanded its modified predator to circle around the approaching survivors. The nightshade stalker, its natural hunting instincts, now enhanced and directed by human intelligence, moved with deadly precision through the undergrowth. "We classified this as a rescue scenario," Dr. Rithken said, his voice hollow with realization. But we were wrong about who needed rescuing. The human had turned one of the planet's most efficient killing machines into a controlled weapon. It had spent weeks perfecting the neural conditioning process, using a combination of chemical dependency, pain response modification, and direct neural interface technology. The creature that had once been a solitary apex predator was now an extension of human will. As the team watched in horrified fascination, the human began its approach on the unsuspecting survivors. The modified stalker flanked them from the opposite direction, its movements no longer governed by natural instinct, but by calculated strategy. "Humans," Commander Zexhai said quietly, updating his behavioral assessment files. "Note for the xenobiological database, apparent acts of compassion toward dangerous species may indicate domestication attempts rather than empathetic behavior. Recommend immediate quarantine protocols for any world where humans demonstrate unusual interaction patterns with local predators." The observation chamber fell silent as they watched the hunt begin below. What they had mistaken for kindness had been something far more dangerous, the methodical creation of a living weapon by a species that had turned empathy itself into a tool of predation. The human wasn't nurturing the stalker out of compassion. It was farming it.